ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell at 8 Eastern, features two teams battling in a tight National League Central race as Albert Pujols and the St. Louis Cardinals face Derek Lee and the Cubbies. Then Monday Night Baseball, presented by Holiday Inn, moves to ESPN2 as Ryan Howard leads the Phillies' powerful lineup, and they take on Manny Ramirez and the Dodgers at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. 14 laps complete. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch, Tony Stewart, and Carl Edwards. 2 Chevys, 2 Toyotas, and a Ford in the top 5.
I think this is very impressive of Dale Jr. and his team to come out here. And I know we have a long way to go in this race, but to come out from the very beginning and lead this race and still turning the fastest laps out there, I think that's very impressive that they can that they're this well prepared on a road course.
Fastest car on the racetrack the last lap, guys, was Marcus Ambrose back in 28th spot. He's got a fast car. He showed it in practice, and he's using it, methodically moving up through here, but he's coming.
In the pre-race, Marcus told our pit reporters they're going to try some very bizarre pit strategy to get track position. What could he be thinking about doing here? Oh, trouble. A couple of road race regulars, P.J. Jones in the 96 and Patrick Carpentier in the 10. And no caution, no full course caution.
There, stay high. Hard, go hard. You're clear right there. Clear right there.
That was down in turn 1 where a lot of things seem to happen here as guys are racing down in there trying to make a pass. We'll watch the replay here and see exactly what went on. Patrick Carpentier looked like was trying to get down in and make the pass. It looked like he was pretty much under control, but they got together, whoever's fault it was. It's hard to say right there. PJ looked like he'd got in there a little bit hot. No, Carpentier, yeah, that's his fault. He just got in there a little bit hot. Boris said we saw just sneak by those guys, so that was a pass. He was looking to have to pass 2 cars, and he did it in 1 corner.
Boris said driving the 45 for Petty Enterprises. Kyle Petty opted to get out and let Boris drive the car here, and we'll have Terry Labonte in that car next week. You heard earlier from Dave Burns that Jeff Gordon was really struggling. The car was loose in portions of the track, and he complained it's really tight over in the inner loop. And here are the cars that are moving in on Gordon. Jeff holding on to 8th position, but it's Jeff Burton, Martin Truex, and Ryan Newman moving in behind him, 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Okay, this is your first round of pit stops. This is a scheduled pit stop, believe it or not. And these guys feel like that they can make it now on 1 more stop. It's going to be tight for these guys, and they're counting on a lot of caution flags. But this is the first round of them right here.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. We're going to be saying this a lot as this starts to happen from this point forward now as to what different strategies people are going to be on. His only problem is he's getting ready to get lapped right here, and that could be a problem.
Yeah, that works if you can stay on the track without losing a lap. But if you've lost so much ground before you make that stop, you lose a lap, that can backfire right in your face.
Juan Pablo Montoya continuing his march in the 42 car. There comes the 11 car, and Montoya right behind the 12 car of Ryan Newman. That is Newman is 11th. They are 11th, 12th, and 13th.
These guys have been racing awfully hard. These cars are just so equal up through here, but you see them, each one of them, as they get to these braking points, they're going up through the S's right now. They get to the braking points, they're really trying to protect that position. We saw that's what the 11 car was doing down into turn 1. Be interesting to see if he does the same thing in trying to keep Juan Pablo behind him right here.
One of the drivers who's been struggling just a bit is the 07 of Clint Boyer. Dave?
He's lost 5 positions, Doc, and remember, entering today's race, he's only 11 points to the good as far as the race to the chase. So right now, Clint has to battle getting through this race, and that dreaded wheel hop you guys talked about, that doesn't help. Listen.
Anything I can do to help wheel hop?
Just adjust your brake. Try to put some front brake in it. So you can also brake longer before you gear down.
To learn more about what Clint may be going through and how he can solve it, let's go to the Chevy Cutaway car and Tim Brewer.
Thanks, Dave. Folks, from inside the car, the driver can actually turn this knob right here. What he's going to do, he's going to change the mechanical ability out here on the master cylinders. What that does, you change the rate from over this front master cylinder to the rear. And that's how we actually change the brake bias on the car, is through this cable that's hooked to the dash, moving it from this point over to this. Andy?
Yeah, Tim, another thing about these wheel hop deal is it's just so hard to get. A lot of drivers don't have the right style of downshifting, and we can hear some of those guys trying to help Clint, but boy, his voice got up there pretty high. He was worried about that.
Was there a sense of urgency in Clint Boyer's voice? It's almost like someone jumped out of a plane. He's yelling, any idea how to get this parachute to open? How do you stop this wheel hop? Clint Boyer. The good news is, though, as Dave mentioned, he's trying to hang in the 12th in the points, but the guy he's battling for position is the 17 who's right behind him. Here's the 41, Reed Sorensen.
Get going here, buddy.
That's the hot spot today, turn 1.
It's always been the spot that's been the one that you had to be careful of the most, but I believe with these new cars, it's even more critical. You know, that's the spot that we saw Jeff Gordon leading the race last year spin out. It's just, you go downhill into that corner, and it just makes it even more difficult. You're loading the front end, you've got rear brake on your car to help other places, and so then it just makes it even more difficult. We'll see him come in. Yeah, he's lost it way back up there.
He lost it early.
Just carrying too much speed down in there. And you know, it's a great place if you can get through there to make up some time to carry speed in there, because you want to carry that off of that first corner, but it's a very treacherous place.
They make anti-locking brakes. Could they make anti-hopping brakes?
Actually, anti-lock brakes would help that. They're illegal in this series, but that would help that situation.
That hasn't stopped people before.
Dale Jr.'s not having any problems. He's still out front. Jimmy Johnson right behind him. We saw Kyle Busch up to third. He's actually gained on Jimmy Johnson for that third spot. So.
Yeah, these two guys have been running the 88 car down, Dale Earnhardt Jr. by a couple tenths a lap. They're starting to move back in on him, but Marcus Ambrose has still been one of the fastest cars. He's back in the packaways.
Carl Edwards, a 99 car. And he will be one of those that will pit early here on lap number 20, getting down to 35 miles an hour.
Well, he's in plenty good spot. He was far enough up front. He's not going to have to be worried about losing the lap or anything, but this is their strategy that they want to get in here right now, and it'll help them gauge their gas mileage here, Andy, to see exactly when they can come in for this next one. Shannon?
Yeah, Greg Biffle on pit road. They're going to go to work on that car. You know, I spoke with Greg Irwin. He said that this setup on this car is very similar to where they unloaded. They chased their tail for a while, but ended up going back to what they unloaded with 4 tires for Greg Biffle. Mike?
Carl Edwards complaining is very tight in the left-hand turns, and the car needs to roll better. They're going to make a 4-tire change, an air pressure adjustment, and take on a full load of Sunoco race fuel. Jamie?
Matt Kenseth's on the outside looking in points. He says he has no rear grip. He said it's going to be a long day. They're going to make a lot of changes. Right rubber out of the left rear, wedge in the left rear as well. 4 tires of fuel. Matt Kenseth is down and away.
I think that was a corporate decision by Rouse to make a pit stop on that lap.
Pretty much looked like the Rouse guys were going to come in on lap 20.
There's 70 laps to go from there, so that means that they can at least go 35 laps in each segment. At least they think they can. They'll probably try to gamble with a little bit more laps on that final segment.
And if they can't, Jack Roush will be the first to know. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading here after 21 laps.